controversial section of evidence. So it is a big job for them. We expect them to be sent out later on this afternoon. The courtroom today full of families, many family members who've come here for this moment at the end of this very long 2-year process to see the jury being sent out later.
Judith Morris in Warrington, thank you. The Business Secretary, Sajid Javid, has